But yeah, I think this is an issue that I personally need to learn more about. So, as per tradition, I'm gonna play the goofus to your gallons on this one and allow you to lead the way. And
Okay.
I'm gonna be your Joe Six Pack over here and let you explain this shit to me and occasionally ask a stupid question that might help illuminate what you're talking about. At best, like that's my goal here.
I think that is a laudable and worthy goal, and I appreciate the effort. Um,
That's all I can bring. I
it's
don't have talent, so I can bring hustle. Like it's classic coach's kid sport ball attitude. Like if you ain't got game, like at least fucking give it your all.
so I guess let's start with the just the broad basics, and we'll fill in all the gaps. So here in Missouri, the state legislature has put forward an amendment to the state constitution that basically changes the way that income tax and sales tax works in the state. So we actually talked a little bit about Kansas doing a similar thing in like the first three episodes of,
You took the word
that
right out
we've
of my mouth.
recorded. Um, but the Kansas experiment, of course, a disaster perpetrated by Sam Brownback
Joel
in
Samuel
2012,
Brownback. Yep.
did such a great job that it was repealed 5 years later in 2017. Um,
So let's
it
play that.
was supposed to be
It failed so catastrophically.
it failed horrifically. It was supposed to be a shot of adrenaline into the heart of the Kansas economy
Uh-huh.
that immediately gutted state government revenue, emptying coffers for future spending out of like pensions and Medicaid and education, and did basically nothing to stimulate job growth. And
Nobody goes to your state to spend money when you fucking have removed the income tax and all of the taxes on sales tax. Of course, no one goes to your state to spend money when the sales tax is way higher there than everywhere else because you have to make up that revenue difference somewhere.
yeah, but that's
Everyone is leaving your state to go shop in adjacent states wherever fucking possible
mm,
because
mm.
the tax is lower and it's cheaper to buy that thing over here on this side of the border than this side. Whereas the opposite of that is
It's self defeating immediately. It's
yes,
immediately self defeating.
yes,
Well, I wanted to add really quick about the Kansas experiment.
please.
Also, just in light of this environment where MAGA Republicans, such as much of the Missouri U.S. representatives and state legislature also is,
Oh,
and the governor is. Um, so many of these
fucking motley crew we got here, huh?
so many of these Republicans polling terribly because of their support for disastrous, uh, uh, just awful fucking Trump presidency so far, in so many ways, which we'll get into. But Sam Brownback, of course, like the Kansas experiment, right? This rolling back of state income taxes that started in 2012. By the end of 2015, Brownback polled as the least popular governor in the country. So it's something for Republicans to consider for their electoral
Deep
futures.
ass red motherfucking Kansas. And I think this was kind of a start of swing of Kansas kind of swinging a little bit more purple again.
Hmm.
Kansas is still Kansas, but I feel like they're kind of getting a little bit fed up with some shit like that.
I feel like
Similar to Missouri in a way. Like we've all seen the shit that plays out in Missouri where the voters definitively come together and say, this is what we think about this issue. And the state says, no, fuck you, you're dumb. You don't know what you're talking about.
when the one thing that Republicans have working against them in deep red states is that they have track records of being the states that require the most federal aid, for example, which means they are the states that are in the most dire need of it, which means they are often
That
the
doesn't
states
seem to
that,
bother them.
well,
Again,
well,
hypocrisy has no bearing. They have some built-in armor against
that's
that.
not what going for. So what I'm saying is these are the states that need this help the most. They are the states that perform the worst. And when you consistently perform the worst in things like education and healthcare and year after year after year, and it's the same group of dudes that are failing, at some point you at least get a little skeptical. You kind
You'd
of,
think eventually.
it's what I think it's exactly what led people that are ostensibly Trump supporting, on the right to have an appreciation for Bernie Sanders, who is a socialist. Whether he's a democratic socialist or not, he's a socialist. So, that Bernie Sanders has an appeal to those people,
Yeah,
I
but
think speaks to specifically that experience that like they don't get material benefit from these people that are in charge. They're certainly afraid of the opposition, but Bernie Sanders isn't exactly the opposition. He's not even a Democrat. Sam Brown Pack, by 2015, 3 years later, polled as the least popular governor in the country, which is just incredible.
wonderful.
There are some differences in the in how it will work here in Missouri compared to how it was implemented in Kansas. So, for example, part of Brownback's plan that he initially put forward was to expand and increase sales tax to make up for the abolished income tax for the state income tax. Mm-hmm. But this was so deeply unpopular in the public as well as in the legislature that it did not make it. So there wasn't there wasn't a correlated increase in sales tax.
Yeah, that's right. I remember now.
For Kehoe,
that additional revenue was supposed to come from where?
Yeah, it was
economic activity.
It was immediately absurd.
Yes, absolutely.
So the legislation, the amendment to the state constitution that's required here is in Missouri is absurd for different reasons. Kehoe, the sales tax hike that has been front and center. Elimination of the state income tax was one of his campaign promises, actually.
And people fucking either didn't care or went for it. So, like, dude, goddamn, we're getting what we voted for.
Voter literacy is fucking abysmal in this country.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking abysmal. Lots of work needs to be done there for sure, which is maybe partly what this could end up being. So, but
yeah, pay attention to us, kids. Like, we will increase your literacy of fucking something. I don't know what, but.
So it's important to note the sales tax proposed increase. This is more than just an increase in like the existent sales tax number. It's not just like we're going to take the sales tax as it currently exists up like another 12%, which I think is what was estimated to be required if it was just a direct increase on the current sales tax. They're going to be what requires the amendment to the state constitution is the expansion of taxation as far as taxing services and goods that are currently not taxed. That includes medical care, for example. Which, as if that's not expensive enough.
Another way to disproportionately load it down onto the poor people. Yeah.
Of course. And
we're shifting the burden downward at every turn.
At every fucking privatize the gains, socialize the losses, man. At every step.
Seems like we've said that before.
It's like
a fucking common theme.
It's the most direct and obvious way to look at literally every like presidency, like just about every bill that makes it through Congress. Like it's obscene, but like it's how like modern markets work. It's the whole reason why the stock market isn't tanking right now, is because markets understand, they have been conditioned by this point to know we'll get bailed out if we fuck up.
Yeah.
It's why, in spite of
Essentially.
all the craziness,
The richest of the rich that controlled said markets. I mean, these markets aren't just like an abstract thing that kind of exists out in the ether. They're fucking administered and run and molded at the behest of the rich people that make the money off of.
Companies are people, my friend.
Companies are fucking people. Thank you, Mittens. Thank you for.
We have to make sure that the promises we make in Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare are promises we can keep. And there are various ways of doing that. One is we could raise taxes on people. That's not the way. Corporations are people, my friend. We can raise taxes on. Of course they are. Everything corporations earn ultimately goes to people. So, where do you think it goes? What? Whose pockets? Whose pockets? People's pockets. Okay, human beings.
We'll say old Mittens there knew exactly
Prescient.
who our fucking enemy was.
Prescient.
Everybody laughed at him back in the day when he was trying to remind people that, hey, Russia might be playing nice right now, but that's still a fucking bear you're dealing with over there.
Oh my God. Fucking ridiculous to think about, to consider.
But he had binders full of women, so.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, I mean,
so
let's not talk about that little piece of property as well with the
oh yeah,
the very interesting name
OG with this binder full of women.
What's that?
I said old Mittens was OG with his binder full of women.
Oh yeah, dude.
Laying down that Mormon pimp hand.
He's got so many wives, he's got to organize them in a binder. It's
exactly, yeah.
Like, what can you do, man? Like, he doesn't have so many that he needs a filing cabinet yet. If he had been president, he absolutely would have.
Yeah.
As would have been his Christian nationalist prerogative.
Mormon ain't easy.
All right, so back to the tax everything bill, as it's being dubbed. So yeah, expanding the goods and services that can be taxed is a big part of where the budget shortfall is supposed to be made up. So I've got a couple of numbers here. I've got in my notes kind of scattered all over the place. So I wanted to note right off the bat that Missouri corporate income tax is one of the lowest in the country at 4%. I just wanted to throw that out there. That that
seems
also
like
capital gains are untaxed by Missouri.
Wow. So what you're telling me is that if you're wealthy at all in Missouri, you're already doing pretty okay relatively. We're already kind of treating you with kid gloves, and we're not squeezing that orange at all to get any juice out of it. Like, it's a real easy squeeze, but like we're not even trying on that.
Hey, I there's another fun thing I wanted to point out also in this. Just a little bit of context to kind of like set up how fucking awkward things are here in Missouri before we even get into some more about this income tax repeal.
Illuminate.
How many tax brackets do you think there are for Missouri state income tax?
I'm going to take a stupidly low ball estimate and say like 4.
Okay, there are 9.
Okay.
Now I want you to guess.
Stupidly low ball.
Now I want you to. So with the first, the bottom tax bracket, the lowest income there being $0, right? What do you think the lowest income level is for the highest tax bracket? Where do you think they stop that stratification in income to determine who gets taxed at the top rate of 4.7% of their income?
Okay, so like what does your yearly income have to be to hit that top rate of
Yes.
4.7? The top rate is 4.7%.
Yes.
That is stupidly fucking low to begin with. But let's say stupidly low. I'm gonna go with stupidly low again. Let's say 400,000. Like if that's your
400,000?
yeah.
Oh my sweet summer child. It's like $9,200.
Jesus.
We have like yeah. The you can actually look at it. I can share the screen on it if you'd like to see.
Mm-hmm. Let's see some hard data here. Let's see some numbers.
This is Department of Revenue, Missouri Department of Revenue. Let me
Yo, where are we at?
all right, so I was showing evidence
Evidence, eh?
of the tax brackets in Missouri.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the tax rate changes index for inflation here. Individual income tax. If the Missouri taxable income is $0 to $1,300, the tax is zero. But then the top is over $9,191. The tax is $256 plus 4.7% of excess over $9,191. It's nitpicking the very lowest income, the very lowest for all this. And
We are going to squeeze every drop of blood out of each one of those little stones at the bottom before we start squeezing any drops out of the big ones at the top.
well, and again, no capital gains tax.
Yeah. How that can exist in this system. How you can not have an income tax and also not have a capital gains tax. It's it's obvious that this system is being designed to reward those at the top of to reward the capital side of the equation. Like it's undeniable. This is just too on the nose to be reality almost.
It's just nitpicking in this world where there's in this state where there's not even fucking capital gains tax. There's 4.7% state income tax, which is low. It's a little bit closer to the middle than you might expect, but it's low. The Missouri corporate income tax is one of the lowest in the country at 4%. So, despite that,
fuels some of this opulent wealth in even small, mid-sized cities.
Yeah,
in said state.
Well, and despite how low these taxes are, though, you're still talking about billions of dollars in revenue. I believe, let's see, actually had it without estimated without expansion to new services and goods. Sales tax would have to increase by over 8% to 12% to make up for lost revenue from income taxes. So this has since I started looking into it, it has, of course, passed through the state house. A couple weeks ago, it was kind of in flux as Senate committee was kind of arguing over a few things, and they basically approved a version with a longer timeline to enact the taxes, the sales taxes that would replace the income tax. So it actually means they can start the income tax rollback, which I'll talk about the mechanism by how that works, but they can start the income tax rollback before they've actually done anything with the sales taxes. So they can kind of start it the same way that Kansas did on a longer timeline. I believe that's the version that passed the Senate.
Kick the can down the curb to a future administration that's going to have to deal with the fallout of it. Potentially a future Democratic administration that's going to have to deal with the fallout of it because your actions were so ridiculously unpopular.
Mm-hmm.
But then all the voters are fucking going to see is the Democratic replacement failing to fix the stupidity overnight and blaming them.
Never seen that
And the
happen
cycle
before.
repeats itself, yada
That's
yada.
that's never been a thing that's occurred in the history of this country, Travis.
Where would I get a silly notion like
That's
that?
almost conspiratorial thinking, sir.
It's balderdash, I tell you.
Um,
Balderdash.
but I think that version with the longer timeline is what passed the Missouri Senate on the 21st, which means that now this goes to the ballot box, which, given Missouri's, the legislative
Means it
body's
will be
notorious
ignored.
reputation for bypassing election results, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And
Who knows?
Kehoe wants
Who
this
knows?
badly. Kehoe fucking
Yeah.
wants this. It's one of his campaign promises. He seems like he's foaming at the mouth about this. I've actually got uh, a little quote here. This is the first step in keeping our promise to make Missouri more competitive, attract jobs and investment, and let families keep more of what they earn from the start. We look forward to continuing this important conversation with Missourians in every corner of our state. Um, that was after it passed through the Senate, I believe. Like you're saying, like the idea is that they want to make they cite this problem with, where we've got people that come in from out of the state and they use our services, but they have reside in another state, so they pay state income taxes to another state, and so we need to
The
tax them
inverse
more.
on that is so fucking huge. Like, it's not fucking people coming to this state and using its services and leeching off and leaving. It's rich people fucking coming to this state and leeching off its general fucking tax policy,
Mm,
living fucking huge opulent lives and properties on places like Lake of the Ozark and other cities and leaving. Like, it's carpetbaggers more than fucking people are punching downward when they should really, really be punching upward on that issue.
yeah, agreed, 100%. Like we were talking about, just in the structure of the taxes in the state, and what things are taxed and at what rates. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's right there, very obvious. Like there are people in the state. One, like, we're already paying for a lot, so
Yeah.
to
Big time.
erode from that is kind of silly. If you wanted to focus on changing some service taxes for things that are focused on tourists specifically, maybe I could kind of understand that in a country that has or sorry, in a state that has
This
like
city tried that.
Branson is just like a blight on the planet at this point, just like this barren wasteland of banjos and uh uh uh
Yeah,
bad
but it makes
comedy. Like,
a fuck ton of money, man. It
I,
makes an absolute fuck
do they
ton of money.
still though?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But
It's
eroding tourism is problematic, and doing it
that
through
is
like
yeah.
increasing sales taxes could be tricky, but there's probably somewhere to work at that. But it's very clear that we have
Yeah,
wealthy
but
people that benefit quite a bit, wealthy corporations that benefit quite a bit from that low corporate income tax. Like,
true. But Branson is not going to continue to be Branson when there's a fucking 21% sales tax
yeah,
on
absolutely.
everything that you have to do in
Yeah.
that town. Nor is some of its other money up the road in a place like Springfield, where Johnny Morris, who owns Bass Pro, is Bass Pro going to continue to make a whole fuckload of money if there's a 21 or whatever percent sales tax?
Hmm.
Absolutely not. Like,
Hmm.
a
Yeah.
a huge part of that economic ecosystem is those two things kind of coexisting in a pretty close proximity to one another, and both being tourist draws that are gonna hurt tremendously if a ginormous sales tax goes into effect.
Well, and the to be clear too on this, like again, we'll talk a little bit about the expansion of services and what that actually how that plays into this as far as what's expansion of services that are being taxed, goods and services being taxed.
Mm-hmm.
But if they just increase the sales tax as it is now to try to make up for the budget shortfall, estimated, let's take the low end of that estimate, 8%. 8% is at the higher end of what sales taxes currently are for goods and services that are taxed in the state. Like that's already at the higher end on that scale. So you're talking about at least a doubling, if not in some cases almost a tripling of the sales tax that you might have to pay on everything that's currently taxed. If you go to the grocery store and you buy goods that have a sales tax, it's an immediate price increase no matter who you shop from, whether you go to Walmart or you go to fucking Deerberg's up here in St. Louis, wherever you go to Aldi, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Like that's an immediate price increase. It's an immediate increase to your grocery bill, and it's massive. Like 8% of what you pay. Like think about how much you pay at Costco, like we were talking about before, to buy produce and shit for your family, and then tack another 8% on that bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you've already got fucking inflation that's been fucking soaking people and all the goddamn nonsense with tariffs that like wonderful that the Supreme Court kind of knocked that shit down, but like that money isn't coming back to the consumers that fucking spent it for goods and services. Although sadly, like a lot of fucking businesses like took a huge hit on that too. Some of the biggest sufferers from all of that were the small businesses of the world that took enormous hits. They didn't have the economic power of scale that larger retailers do. So
they're just
small businesses that operate on the Etsy's of the world or what have you, like they have no ability to weather that storm. Or small local businesses that exist in farmers markets or wherever, yada yada. It kills shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah. There was let's see. Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about on this is so voting for this is not just like so. I want to look at this quote really quick from the House Minority Leader Ashley Ayoun, I think, or Ayune. I forget how to pronounce her last name, unfortunately, so I apologize for that. But Kansas City Democrat, current House Minority Leader in Missouri. The Republican supermajority does not need the voters' permission to eliminate your income tax. So that's an important thing to note: is that they could just do the income tax part immediately. But what's important also in this constitutional amendment is they need your permission, however, to raise your sales tax and nullify constitutional prevention of sales taxes on services and real estate. So there are a proposed amendment to the state constitution gives the legislature kind of an unprecedented power here, one that is explicitly barred in our state constitution, and it gives it in a basically unlimited scope. So it'd be one thing if they were like, we're going to allow through an amendment to the state constitution that you could levy taxes on, let's say, medical bills specifically. I would say that's unjust and ridiculous. I don't know why you'd start to do that, but let's just say there's that narrow scope. This amendment would allow them to create those taxes on any good or service, to change the tax status of any good or service.
Wow.
So you're it's like a black box that you're voting to open up here. And again, they're talking about extending the timeline that gives them more time to determine what they want to chip away at and that gives them more time to do it by this like death by 1,000 cuts sort of approach.
This is so inherently open to corruption. Like
Yeah.
the ones that are going to survive are the ones that are going to be feeding kickbacks into this. They're like, don't kill my business here. Don't kill my industry. Here's like,
Talk about one maybe that's
yeah,
currently wrapped up in other legislation, CBD, like legal marijuana
yeah,
sales,
like
and derived products, like you know, yeah. If you don't chip in, we're gonna inhibit your ability to sell these things, and even if you're able to sell these things, we're gonna increase the taxes on them or tax some things where maybe they weren't ever taxed before or in different new ways. And yeah, it's an unbelievable power to
yeah.
put pressure on any industry.
Yes, the state is going to be able to put their thumb on the scale in so many ways, and
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, just absolute unfucking check, fucking corruption and abuse of authority. Like,
Yeah, yeah, it's it, and like this is from the sorry, I'm gonna back up here. So the other
yeah,
thing too is they have this extended deadline to enact these various taxes, and that also coincides with just the way the tax system works. So I forget the specific percentage. I didn't mark it down, but immediately they would repeal some of the income tax by basically reducing the amount of the top marginal tax rate. And then as revenues increase from the sales taxes,
yeah,
they keep decreasing the income tax. So what's actually kind of crazy about this is there's a world in which they lower the top marginal tax rate by like let's say 0.3%, right? Down from 4.7 to 4.4.
mhm,
And
mhm.
the revenues never get to a point where they can offset a further tax decrease, but they still have the ability to at any time again enact those taxes. They have the threat always to enact those taxes on a
It's
new
the implication.
industry. Yeah, yes, yes, it's the
It's
implication.
the goodness, are we going to hurt these businesses?
No, we just take them into Jefferson City, into the state capitol. We
Yeah.
pull them into a meeting room. We sit them down with
Mhm.
Governor Kehoe.
No, you take them out on the Lake of the Ozarks
Ooh.
onto a fucking big yacht with Governor Kehoe, and you tell them the situation, and you get them to go along with what you want them to do because of the implication.
Because of the implication. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty incredible like how insidious this is and how there's also the room there to keep extending the deadline also because that
Yeah,
deadline, so far as I know, that is under control of the legislature if they have this power at all. If we give them this authority at all, they have control over that deadline. They can just
yeah,
arbitrarily say there is no deadline anymore. We will
yeah,
we'll do this tax whenever we want to because we need to offset, loss of revenue from income tax drop.
yeah.
So like
No way they can abuse that. Yeah.
it's so open ended and so overtly
Mhm.
nefarious, and
Yeah.
not a single one of those dollars is probably going to go to fill fucking potholes around this motherfucker.
Oh God, no. It's like fucking lottery money with schools and shit. Like, yes, they might technically keep their promise that this lottery money is being spent on the schools, but it's being like siphoned in on the one hand and siphoned out with the other,
Right.
where it's a net fucking half the time fucking lost for the schools and shit.
Right.
But like, yeah, the lottery money's been skimmed over there like it's supposed to be, but money's being moved out in the opposite direction to put back into the coffers and the slush funds and what have you.
I wanted to share this other quote from St. Louis Republican Representative Brad Christ. This is on Tuesday after the Senate had already passed their version of this bill. Why are out-of-state businesses and visitors getting off free while our constituents pay the burden? Why do we have a tax code that's 100 years old? This is actually written incorrectly here. Why do we have a tax code that's 100 years old? Why are we losing population, GDP, and our youth? The common denominator in all this is the income tax.
I feel like there's a lot of other common denominators that you could have reached for. The common denominator is that we all breathe oxygen.
Is it's
The
water.
common denominator is that we are eukaryotes and we have a nucleus with a membrane.
Water is the poison that twists people into communists. But I just love out of state businesses and visitors getting off scot free, Like we do have taxes. I do want to remind this guy we do have sales taxes.
Yeah.
Like they are paying something, and it's an awesome thing when people from, let's say, I don't know, the big city, like Chicago, or let's say Springfield, Illinois. Let's say the big city. Let's say people come in from any other state and they bring money here and they spend money here. That's a
big part of our economy.
That's a good thing.
And Bransons of the world and the lakes of the Ozarks and such, or wherever. Yes, that's a good thing for our economy that people are coming here and doing that. And making that way more expensive for them is not going to incentivize them to do that.
Well, and there needs to be a realization too that like this money that we're raising can't be just going to things like maintaining, like let's talk about St. Louis specific for me here. Like maintaining or developing new stadiums or or like the arch. Like you have to like recognize that like there are like updated needs in our economy, and we need to address those needs. And by addressing those things, by making St. Louis, as an example, more appealing to people because people have just a better quality of life here in general, people are going to want to come visit places that have this kind of quality of life. They're going to want to move to those places. They're going to want to bring their families to those places and invest in things like education and stuff like that. Like focusing on that shit as opposed to again trying to attract businesses in this archaic way of continually lowering the tax burden on them and their owners.
You need more than that. That feeds on itself eventually. There's no way that's sustainable.
Yeah.
If you run it all the way to the end, it just doesn't work.
Yeah. I guess we're just gonna have to see exactly how this ends up shaking out, over the next couple of months. This will be on the ballot. I believe it's going to be on it in November. So
I don't think it's got a chance, honestly. I've been way wrong so many times before, but this seems so wildly unpopular. It's gonna have to be really propagandized and fucked up with some stupid ass ballot language.
I think that there's some business interest against it. Like I know the Missouri Association of Realtors and Associated Industries of Missouri, for example, are lobbying against it. So there is big moneyed interest against hiking the sales tax. But here's the thing: is I'm concerned that these motherfuckers are going to brown back it. That the sales tax increase is going to be extremely unpopular, and they're going to nix that part and be like, well, we can do the income tax part, and Kehoe wants to do that anyways, so fuck it. We're just going to do that part.
And they're all raced to the bottom, like trying to be the biggest MAGA motherfucker they can. So, like, man, Missouri's been racing to the bottom for a while anyway, and it doesn't show any sign of stopping.
This next election is going to be huge for that. I mean, it really needs to be. I think if somehow the gerrymandering backfires, those efforts backfire, and Democrats pick up one more congressional seat and make it a 5-3, I think that's going to put some fucking fear in people. And I think that's also going to motivate people. In Missouri right now, this is something I want to talk about also next time we get together. It's something I need to research a little bit more. But I know that Missouri in particular is seeing more people running for seats that classically Republicans run unopposed in smaller elections across the state. It's a big fucking deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that we've personally talked about on a number of occasions. And is I've always felt a big kind of part of the beginning of the end in that regard. Like the sea change for the Republican Party started when they instituted this 50-state strategy and this top to bottom ballot. Like, this was a strategy they put in place 20 plus years ago to start small first, take over state legislatures, take over from the ground up in all of these purple states that they can
take over school boards, like state legislatures, even like
any of those
super
behind.
small.
Always don't let vacant seats go unfilled. Like, go put anyone in these seats. And like the Democrats just have not done that. They took the opposite approach, and we're seeing the end result of that fucking catastrophic strategic decision.
Yes.
And if we would listen to our boy,
that
was the dude trying to tell us, no, this is a dumb idea. We need to be competitive everywhere. We need to be in the game.
We're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House.
God damn it, Howard, we done you dirty. No, we let Fox